Well, here we go. Here's the pond. Did have a huge problem with algae about a month ago. Seemed to have fixed that problem. And the grow beds are draining right now. The pond, it's cleared up a tons. There's a tilapia right there. Tremendously, that's a full-size one almost. Actually, not full-size, but mature one. A lot of little babies. I don't think we'll be able to see them. There's some over here I can see. That right there's a bee. That dumbass fell into the water. Not be able to get out. Be good food. There's some babies right there. And those are about a little bigger than fingerlings. See if we can get some more tilapia. There's goldfish in there also, which are common. There's some bigger sized tilapia. And this water really cleared up. And what you see on the bottom there isn't really dirt or their feces or anything like that. It's from there's some hydrogen that's right over there that had fell through. Had some problems with the draining system, so it fell through. It's on the bottom. And all that red stuff you see is pretty much from the hydrogen. If it doesn't get washed, it'll pretty much cloud up the whole thing and then fall to the, stick to the sides. So that's going to stay there, but you can see some of their feces. You have to really look. But it's pretty much clear. You can almost drink this water. And there's some more goldfish. There's a tilapia right there. And the pond is still draining. And it should keep draining for probably, we're at 2 minutes now, probably another 2 minutes. Looks like the middle is about to stop siphoning. Everything's on a timer. So the pump is off right now. It's just draining out the grow beds. So the grow beds will stop draining in probably about 5 minutes. After that, the pump will kick back on, the siphon will start again, and it'll continue the process over and over. It'll turn on until the grow bed starts siphoning, and then shuts itself off, and then once it drains, and it turns back on. It's all been timed pretty much. I sat out here and waited to see which one drained first and then second, and then made sure that I turned off the system long enough so that the grow beds would always drain out first before it turns back on, because then if you let the system turn on before it siphons out, you'll always have constant flow in there, and you really want your system to sit a little bit, as far as you want it to breathe pretty much. You want the grow beds for the oxygen to be sucked in and sit in there for a little bit on the roots before you flood it again. So because it's pretty much like an EB flow. And then there's some more tilapia. I'm going to go over to the grow bed. It's 108 degrees out right now, by the way. It's very hot. Here's the other grow bed I haven't started yet because I'm still waiting on getting some hydrogen for that. But here's some plants I have started. I've done a few things. Some of them I've put in right as they pretty much were seedlings. I've put them in the system, and you can see how some of them flipped over from the water. Had little problems with the system working that out. And then some of them I've put in when they were pretty good size, and it seems like the bigger they are, the better they'll do in this system. There's not a whole lot of water flow or anything like that. And then over here, this tomato plant's not doing very well. I don't know why. I don't know if I have a dead spot. I'm still trying to figure that out. Or it just couldn't take the heat, which is probably what it was. Over here is my experiment. I put this one in I can get I put this one in just as a seed, and it's actually sprouting on its own, so it go all different ways. And I put them at different spots of the system just to see what would happen, if they would grow fire or not. Here it looks like a jalapeno, I believe this is jalapeno plant, or it could be a green chili plant, Anaheim chili, I'm not sure. I put so many seeds and little seedlings in here, and this is also part of the system. This is actually one of the valves for the flood. And you can see I don't have enough hydrogen over here. This one's only half done. I'm still waiting to get the other half. This stuff is very expensive, but it's the best stuff out there. I don't know of any media that's better than this. I'm still looking. If anybody has ideas, let me know. And these two things right here, I have the rocks on them. Those are the bell siphons, and I keep the rocks on them because if the weight down on it keeps them from moving. If that ever moves out of place, it's a fiasco. There's going to be hydrogen all in the pond. I don't want that to happen. And these, I'm not sure if this is cucumber or it might be zucchini. I'm not too sure yet. I can tell usually later. It might be zucchini because the leaves always feel like sandpaper. This right here, I know for sure it's an heirloom Minnesota muskamelon, they call it, and it's doing fine. And this one, I can remove these, but they're a pain in the butt to take off and take down. I can flip up the shade, and you have to have shade out here. It's 108 degrees, otherwise these would die very fast. But you can grow just about anything in Arizona just as long as you take the weather into effect. It's just you have to worry about heat for the most part. In the wintertime, stuff does freezes, believe it or not. So you have to pay attention to that also. This right here is my pool pump that I use for the systems. Right now it's a little too much. I probably could have went down a horse or a quarter horse. But I want to fill up my beds as fast as possible, and as soon as I get the third bed up and running, it should be perfect. And then I got this tarp. You'll see this tarp when we go back out here. I have this tarp right here that I've strung up, and the winds over here get pretty brutal. It's kind of windy, but not too bad. But I've had this tear down a few times. Tried some different ideas, making it really taut, stringing it up pretty good. It's holding it so far. So it's just some ideas I've had, and I'm putting them together, and they seem to be working. Over here is an old sprinkler setup I had, and I took those lines and I ran them up so I can actually go into my house and turn on my valves for my sprinkler system, and I could actually put them on a timer if I needed, but you're just topping off the pond, so I only turn them on for like a minute or two, and then it's topped off, and this pond's full. And if you notice, this pond is actually a Walmart above ground pool that I put in. I'm trying to save as much money as I can. This is not the ideal setup that I wanted, but when you're on a shoestring budget, this is what you got to do. But it's very effective. It's working just fine. And there's some more tilapia. Got the fingerlings, and hopefully the system will be self-sufficient here soon. All I'm waiting on is getting. If I would need some panels, some solar panels, and then I have a couple of another experiments that I'm going to do, which is going to involve soldier flies, which I've read a lot about, and I've actually tried a few experiments with that already. I thought it was too hot out here, and I killed the soldier flies, and apparently they were living. They burrowed into a mat that I had put in there. Didn't realize that they would burrow in there, so I know I can keep them alive, and I know they were eating and everything. There's a big school, and then so I know I can grow them. So that's a way that I'm going to try and be self-sufficient. And then the other thing is duckweed, which I've grown duckweed, but the biggest problem I had when I was trying to grow it is you got to keep it away from the fish, because the fish will just devour it and you won't have anything left. So I had a smaller system. I had set it to the side, and I just had algae everywhere. I was growing more algae than I was duckweed. So I'm gonna have another idea to try and make that happen. So we'll see what happens with that. Looks like our bee checked out. He's no longer moving. And some more tilapia. So I probably have. Oh, and they're munching on one of their little buddies. That thing flipping around is a dead tilapia. Well, they were. But you can see all the little fingerlings, and the big guy munching on it now. But there's probably, I had bought these, the bigger ones I had bought probably about 6 months ago. And I bought them just to see if I could do aquaponics, and I always had this in mind that I was going to do this. And it's working out so far. Wow, he's going to town on that. But they say that they grow full size in 1 year. I don't think that's true at all. And the pump just kicked on. So if whoever's telling you they grow full size in a year, I don't think so, because I still think these guys got at least another 6 months. Or they say 6 months, usually they grow full size. No way. It's at least minimum a year, I think. So, and I am still trying to have them reproduce, and I think they did, but I'm not sure. I had like 5 little fry. They were real dark black little fry, and they were floating, and floating around. I haven't seen them since. I mean, they're very, very tiny, really tiny. So I don't know if they came with the tilapia I purchased, or they actually had mated. They should be, because they should be old enough to where they can start mating. That's what I'm really hoping for, is that I can start reproducing my own fish in here. I've thought about getting separate tanks and catching them and putting them in there, but they're very, very fast and very hard to catch. So I'd rather just have them mating here, and then I just have a bunch of little fry, but then I'm concerned about them getting in the system. And if you look over here, I've had to try different ways of doing this, but that right there is 2 strainers put together, 2 household strainers that I put together. I've tried all different ways. I've tried using milk crates. The holes are too big, so I was sucking up a bunch of little fingerlings. That wasn't good. And then I also started with what was it? It was a plant box where the holes were fine, but there was nothing on the bottom, so they kept going through the bottom, and then I used screen material on top of that to try and stop them, and the screen material kept breaking because the pump is too powerful. So now I come up with this solution, and so far we're going about a week, and it's been working just fine. I haven't caught any fish in my strainer. So, and they're getting big enough to where I don't think it's a problem now. But I do worry about the fry if I have any. So, and I'll be taking out the comet fish, the comet goldfish. I don't really want them in here, but they're helping my fish tank, or helping the pond create bacteria, beneficial bacteria. They're helping cycling the tank, which it's pretty much already cycled. I've tested it a few times. My nitrates are very low, so I'm assuming I cycled it. But I'm just going to keep them in there because I do need this to really, I need a lot more nitrates. This pond's not ready. It's probably going to take another 6 months to get this up to tip-top condition to where I'll be able to grow. I'll have enough nutrients in the pond that I can grow just about anything, is my hopes. So it's a test for me. I've never did it on this scale. what I've done in the past.